John Connolly was saying lately you're coming back from a niggling injury. What was the injury, and are you in right for the weekend?
Yeah, I'm hopefully I'm in contention for selection anyway. John might say otherwise, but I think I'm close enough to contention to be in the squad. Just picked up a knock there before Christmas that probably just ruled me out of the games. I was able to partake in a good bit of the training, but the matches was probably just I wouldn't have been able to perform at the capacity that was needed. And when you've the type of competition that we're striving for in the squad, I was nowhere near.
I'd say last year's championship exit hurt. Do you feel like you're in the right place to channel that hurt productively this year?
Yeah, I do. I mean, it's probably been alluded to a few times where people are putting it down to that we should be very disappointed that we lost to Kilkenny, and that needs to be the catalyst for a good year. I mean, we got beaten by a fantastic Kilkenny team with brilliant talent and an incredible work rate. So I mean, that shouldn't be a surprise to anyone that team were able to do that, and probably could have won an All-Ireland title on another day. So I mean, the hurt is going to be there, obviously. But I mean, had we won that game, we'd still need to find improvements for this year. So we're consistently just trying to build on last week, the week before. We're just consistently trying to build and find those 1% and 2%, and over the next few months, and hopefully they all add up. But I mean, there's certainly a lot of areas of improvement where we can find those gains. So it's not just the hurt from last year. It's the want and the positive energy to do well. We're not carrying any baggage or hurt from it, but we certainly have a lot of energy to try and perform to the best of our ability.
As a group, what lessons did you learn from that game? It seemed that they edged you in the hunger stakes that day almost, and that was the difference.
Yeah. But I mean, there isn't a whole pile to learn from that. Kilkenny are a fantastic team with a fantastic manager, with a fantastic work rate. And people kind of bring it up as if like we came up to have a puck around, and that's why we were beaten. Like they scored some fantastic scores, got a brilliant goal, and we're 1-8 to 2 up, and it's almost nearly disrespectful to Kilkenny that the way people talk about it, because it's as if like we just were asleep and we let them do that. Like if you look at the tackle counter, you look at the aggression in the first 15 minutes, that's why they were 1-8 to 2 points up. It wasn't because we didn't want it. It wasn't because we were being complacent. It was because they just performed, very, very well. So the only lesson that I suppose we could have taken from it was that you need to be at your very best every single day. I mean, we also lost to Quirke last year, and that's not talked about what lessons we got from that. We lost to Tip last year, and no one talks about the lessons from that. So there's lessons to be learned when we win games, when we lose games. Kilkenny showed why they're the most successful hurling county in the country, and they won three club titles the weekend. So I mean, they're a fantastic outfit, and we I don't know what we would have learned, from losing that game, but I just know that you have to be at your best every single day, and that there's probably 8 teams out there who could win All-Ireland.
In 2018, I suppose you had an extended club run with Na Piarsaigh, and then maybe by the time you came back involved with Limerick, the team was already settled. In 2019, you were there throughout the league. Was it important for you to get that full league so you could lay down a claim?
I actually wasn't. I only came back about a week before the league final. I'd been carrying a knock with my knee, and which was quite frustrating. But I came back just before the league, and to be honest, I thought it was going to be the same thing again, where I hadn't featured in the league and couldn't just, guys are playing phenomenally well throughout 2018. I just couldn't get my foot in the door. But the same thing happened. I didn't get in for the Cork game, and the lads were performing quite well. But I suppose when things didn't go well the first day against Cork, the management decided to ring in a few changes. Not through no fault of any. It wasn't any individual's fault that we lost. They just rang in a couple of changes for the next game, and I managed to get in and keep my spot. So the same way anyone who gets in and plays well keeps their spot. That's just I managed to get in and managed to keep my spot. Very tough thing to do. It's not just on a Sunday in the Gaelic grounds or Thurles that you do that. You have to compete in every single drill. So I being back this year for the league, I'm certainly happy about it, that I get a good bank of work in over the next few months, and hopefully get as much exposure to physical tough games as I can to try and prepare myself well for championship.
And did you have to develop anything in the space from 2018 to 19? Did John say to you, we need something different out here, or is it just a case of your time came?
No, but I think if I didn't improve, I definitely wouldn't have got in anyway. You know what I mean? There's no way that you can be going back to a year ago for your best performance, or a year ago for a time you were going well. You know, you need to be going well now. You need to be going well tomorrow, and you very much need to have your finger on the pulse there, because someone will come in and take that from you. But I suppose there was takeaways that I had to do to try and get into the team, which were relayed by management, and I don't think it was nothing drastic. It was finer margins and just how to gel better with the team, or work better with the how to do your job, I suppose.
You must have been happy with your own year, like yourself personally, kind of nailing that place down in midfield, like.
Yeah, I was. I suppose personally, to get in and to perform to a standard that was acceptable, that it was contributing to the team was great. It's one thing getting in and keeping your place, but you really need to feel like you're contributing to your team. So that was something that I was happy with, in terms of I felt that every day I was going out, I was helping our team perform and helping our team reach targets. So that was the main focus. And whether that was off the bench or starting, all you really want to be doing is making a meaningful contribution. But I was certainly happy that I managed to get in and put a string of decent enough performances together.
In terms of competition for places, midfield probably has a little dynamic all of its own, insofar as your competitor for that place is someone you're probably going head to head with on a regular basis in any training matches that you may have. A little bit different, say, to corner forwards at either end of the field, that sort of thing. So it's really mano and mano, and every little session is a trial almost that way.
Yeah, every session, every drill is a trial. You know what I mean? Every contact session, everything is there's a competitive element to everything. And I think the best, you have to have it that way, because I'm sure the best teams have it that way. I'm sure that was the case with some of the great hurling teams over the past few years. You look at soccer teams, football teams. It has to be that competitive if we want to be a successful team. Everyone needs to be that competitive with one another. And I think that's only a positive thing, that people are very competitive, because it brings the best out in everyone. But there's a lot of competition in the midfield sector. I think there's probably 5, if not 6 of us who are in the reckoning there, and all of us just want to be contributing.
Shane O'Neill is obviously a fellow you know well from Na Piarsaigh. So what do you think he's going to bring to Galway this year?
I think Shane's going to do a fantastic job, to be honest with you. I think people probably overlooked Galway at the start of the year. I mean, they were probably in the top 2 or 3 for the All Ireland going into that last night in the Leinster Championship, and because of permutations they never got out of the group, and everyone just forgot about them. Had they managed to get out of the group that evening, I'm sure a lot of people would have been fancying them to be in All Ireland final or win All Ireland. And I think Shane obviously has a fantastic group there in that Galway team, and I think Shane will bring an awful lot to the setup there. I'm sure he's brought in good people. I'm sure he has a fresh mindset, bringing in fresh ideas, and I'm sure he'll bring a lot of energy to that group. Sometimes teams get a kick out of bringing someone new in who's, he might rejuvenate guys or find more in other guys. So Shane's a top guy, and I'm sure, I've no doubt he'll do a good job in Galway.
He probably wasn't overly well known outside of the club scene, but obviously, as you say, he's a fantastic panel of players to work with. What can he do for a player individually? How can he bring them on?
Look, I suppose in the club side of things, we all would have known Shane on a one-to-one basis, as people, more so than a manager and selector. But I'm sure Galway have performance analysts or psychologists and stuff like that. So I mean, it's not so much Shane putting his arm around the guy. It's probably the steps that Shane can put in place for the whole team to support each other better. Which I've no doubt he will do. But that's for Galway to be worrying about.
Solicitor, he's obviously an intelligent man, and then just having seen you in a Piarsaigh team as well, very tactically astute as well. What do you expect he'll bring to that team, and what's he about in general as a manager?
Yeah, I don't know what he's got up his sleeve, but I'm sure he's going to try to get the best out of the attributes he has. And I mean, you've got some fantastic forwards in Galway with an incredible knack to score. So I'm sure he's going to be he's going to be focusing on that end of things. I don't know what his intentions are. If I did, I'd tell John Kiley. But you know, I just wish Shane the best of luck in his journey that he's on. And if we end up bumping into Galway, I won't be myself and Shane. You know, we're not going to lose any sleep over anything that happens on a personal level. It'll be very competitive, and you know, he's a manager of a team now, and you know, that's all it is really.
Is he a fiery character in the dressing room, or what's he like?
I don't know. I can't remember.
Will you go here then?
No, Shane is very he's very calm. He's very detailed, and he gets his message across concisely. You know, I think the day of people being overly passionate and, you know, roaring and shouting is probably gone. You know, there's so much going on, and there's so much tactical elements to games and different things that managers just have to deliver stuff in short, concise time frames, and that's probably Shane's one of his strong points.
You've done a lot of good work raising money for charity. Something you're passionate about?
Yeah, I got involved with a homeless charity in Limerick called Novas in 2017. Did a sleepout with them. Just happened to meet someone who worked with them in passing someday, and they told me that they did a sleepout in, I think it was in June after a match. Told them I'd love to get involved, because, you know, it's one of these things that you say is, you know, the homeless crisis is so woeful and is so sad and destructive to families and stuff, but you never really get a chance to meaningfully do anything about it. So I just said that I'd sign up for that in advance, and when I did, I just set up a fundraising page, because they just said, oh, look here, you know, people who are doing it have the option to do this, and it took off. I think raised a substantial amount of money the first year, probably 6,000-7,000, which was incredible to see the support that people and how willing people were to support that fantastic cause. And just did it the next year and the year after, and I think, you know, my friends, family, local community and surrounding community have probably raised something like 22,000 through my fundraising pages over the last 3 years. So it's a nice thing to bring awareness to, you know, apart from even the financial side of it. It's nice to create a platform where people can support something like this, and people can show how much they actually, that, you know, that it is a cause that they really are passionate in terms of being generous towards. So it's quite rewarding when, you know, you meet the directors of the charity or people like that, and they tell you the impact the money's having and stuff like that. So it's fantastic, and I just think, you know, more people who could do stuff like that, whether it be homeless charities or, you know, whatever other charities are out there. You know, if a lot of us could do a small bit there, I'm sure it'd have massive impacts.
Yeah, because quite a few inter-county players have used their profile to help various charities. I mean, is it something you'd be encouraging more county players to do?
Yeah, and I mean, like, I'm not, you know, people would say it's the profile and stuff like that. But I'd say the first year I did it, we hadn't won, you know, Limerick hadn't won anything. It was in and out of the Limerick panel, and I raised as much that year as I did. I raised more that year than I did this year, you know. So you don't have to, you know, people don't just respond because you play sport. You know, people, it's more the fact that you're someone who people knows, and you're bringing something to light. So whether you're the top athlete in the country, you know, winning the All-Ireland captain, or whether you're a club player or whatever it is, I mean, like, you know, everyone should try and bring something to light, because you'd be surprised the amount of people who'd be willing to support it, and by you just doing something, they can channel that support through you. So, you know, I think if, you know, it doesn't have to just be inter-county players. You know, there's lots of people making massive impacts. I know there's a Timmy Hammersley in Tipperary. I did a sleepout with him the first year, and I see he does a lot of work and stuff like Palestine and stuff, you know, and that's just as fantastic as any top inter-county hurling player doing anything, you know. And so just, you know, a lot of people could use whatever platform it is they have.
Were Nova's able to give you an insight into what the physical difference that money made you raise? Were you able to get insight?
Yeah, I think the entire sleepout raised something like 62,000 this year versus 17,000 in 2017. You know, so the 3 years it's grown year on year, and it goes to the public reach program, which is basically a van that goes out every evening. It was going towards family services as well, which was a big, you know, which is a big one. They deal with a lot of families in hotels, and when you see that kind of stuff over Christmas, it would make you fairly appreciative of, you know. But again, I'm not preaching here as if, you know, that I do so much for the homeless. I literally sleep out for a couple of hours on one night a year, you know. So I'm not here saying, you know, look, you know, people in Novas do fantastic work. I don't do anything like that. I'm just doing I did a bit of fundraising from, you know, so I'm not going to sit here and say, you know, it's fantastic. It's just one night. It's the people who work in these charities and volunteer for these charities that are doing fantastic work.
Thanks for watching Our Game. Don't forget to like and share the videos, and if you're new to the channel, hit subscribe.